Here's something that's going to mess with you a little. You don't actually hate overthinking. Your brain loves it. That spiral at 2 a.m., that replay of a conversation from 3 days ago, that worst-case scenario you've run through 50 times. Some part of you keeps going back to it, not because you're broken, but because your brain is literally getting a reward for it. Today, we're breaking down the dopamine loop that's been running your overthinking this entire time, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Overthinking isn't punishment, it's a reward loop. Here's the thing nobody tells you about overthinking. If it actually felt as bad as we say it does, your brain would have stopped doing it a long time ago. Brains are efficient. They don't keep running programs that offer zero payoff. So if you're overthinking constantly, on repeat, every single day, that means somewhere in the process, your brain is getting something out of it. And that something is dopamine. Now, before you go, wait, dopamine is supposed to feel good. Why does overthinking feel terrible? Stay with me, because that's exactly the part everyone misunderstands. Dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about seeking. Most people think dopamine is the feel-good chemical. That's actually wrong. Dopamine is the seeking chemical. It's not released when you get the reward. It's released when you're anticipating the reward, when you're searching, when you're chasing resolution. Think about checking your phone. The dopamine hit doesn't come from the notification. It comes from the moment right before you check. That little spike of, what if it's something important? Overthinking runs on the exact same mechanism. Every time your brain replays a conversation, it's not doing it for fun. It's searching for resolution. It's trying to find the answer that will finally make the discomfort go away. What did they mean by that text? Did I say the wrong thing? What if this goes badly? Each loop your brain runs is another search attempt, and every search attempt triggers a small dopamine release, because your brain is anticipating that this time it might find the answer. It almost never does, but the anticipation alone is enough to keep the loop running.
The loop that never closes. Here's where it gets kind of brutal. A normal reward loop works like this: craving, action, reward, loop closes, brain feels satisfied, moves on. Overthinking breaks that cycle on purpose without you realizing it. Craving, your brain wants resolution on an uncertain situation. Action, it replays the scenario, analyzes it, runs simulations. Reward, almost none, because thinking about a problem isn't the same as solving it. You don't actually get new information. You're just reprocessing the same data over and over. Loop never closes, so the craving stays alive. Your brain stays in seeking mode, and seeking mode is exactly where dopamine lives. This is the same mechanism behind doom scrolling, behind checking your phone 40 times for no reason, behind refreshing an inbox that has nothing new in it. You're not doing it because it works. You're doing it because the search itself is what your brain is addicted to, not the result. Why uncertainty is the real trigger. Here's the deeper layer. Dopamine spikes hardest under uncertainty, not certainty. This is actually proven in research on variable rewards. Slot machines are designed around this exact principle. If you won every single time you pulled the lever, it would get boring fast. But because the reward is unpredictable, sometimes yes, mostly no, your brain stays hooked, endlessly seeking. Overthinking thrives in that same unpredictability. If you knew for certain that everything was fine, your brain would stop. If you knew for certain that everything was ruined, your brain would also stop, just in a worse way. But uncertainty keeps the slot machine running. Maybe they're upset with me. Maybe they're not. Let me think about it again, just to be sure. That single sentence is your brain pulling the lever one more time. The less certain the situation, the more dopamine gets released in the seeking process, which means the most anxious, ambiguous, unresolved situations in your life are exactly the ones your brain is most addicted to chewing on. It's not a coincidence that you overthink the things you're most unsure about. That's the entire mechanism working exactly as designed.
Why smart, self-aware people get stuck hardest. This part matters because it reframes the whole thing. People who are naturally analytical, reflective, and emotionally intelligent are actually more prone to this loop, not less. Why? Because the skill that makes you good at solving real problems, pattern recognition, deep analysis, simulating outcomes, is the exact same skill your brain applies to unsolvable emotional situations. Your brain doesn't know the difference between "let me figure out this business problem" and "let me figure out what that look on their face meant." Both feel like problems, both trigger the same seeking circuitry, both release dopamine during the search. So if you're someone who thinks deeply, who notices small details, who replays things with intensity, you're not broken. You just have a powerful search engine running on a problem that was never designed to be solved through thinking alone. How to actually break the loop. You can't shut off dopamine. You wouldn't want to. It's the same system that drives your curiosity, your ambition, your motivation to learn. What you can do is stop feeding the loop the exact thing it's addicted to, endless seeking without resolution. Force an artificial close. Since the loop stays open because there's no real resolution, give it a fake one. Write the worry down. Write one sentence underneath it. There is nothing more to analyze right now. This sounds too simple. It works because it gives your brain the signal that the search has ended, even if the external situation hasn't changed. Replace seeking with action. The loop runs because your brain is searching for certainty. Certainty mostly comes from real-world action, not internal analysis. If you're overthinking a text, send a follow-up text. If you're overthinking a decision, make a small, reversible move. One real action collapses 10 imaginary loops. Starve the uncertainty on purpose. If a situation is genuinely unresolved, accept that some loops cannot be closed by thinking. Say it directly. This is unresolved. I will get information later, not now. Your brain hates this at first, but naming the uncertainty out loud reduces its grip more than trying to think your way through it. Give your dopamine system something better to chase. Since your brain is wired to seek, feed it real, productive seeking, a project, a skill, a genuine curiosity. When your search circuitry has somewhere real to go, it has less appetite left over for replaying a conversation from Tuesday. Conclusion. You don't overthink because you're weak. You overthink because your brain found a loophole in its own reward system, and it's been running that loophole on repeat without you ever questioning why. The seeking isn't the problem. The endless searching for resolution that never actually arrives, that's the problem. Close the loop on purpose. Replace thinking with one small action. Sit with uncertainty instead of chasing it, and give your brain something real to seek. Here's what I want you to do tonight. Pick one thing you've been overthinking. Write it down. Underneath it, write "nothing more to analyze right now," and close the notebook. That's the whole exercise. That's you closing a loop your brain has kept open for way too long. Subscribe for more videos like this every week. Your brain isn't broken. It's just been running an old program nobody ever taught you how to update.